So good evening, everybody, and welcome to Super League Raw Weekly. Great to have you, as always, on a night where Rugby League took a step backward, but we'll get back to that in a few moments' time. As you can see, Joel is in the house. Good evening, Joel.
Very good evening, sirs. How are you?
As well as,
good evening.
As well as Greg, as always, and they're all coming in. Ryan Birch, he's back with us, no wonder, doing extremely well in the Fantasy League. He's getting giddy again, he's the lad. Jack Topping, he's with us. Oliver Hodge, John Wilkinson, Paul Boardman, a man called Steph Sale is also with us as well. Good to see you guys.
Good evening, everyone.
As always, this evening, on a week where the fans forum went over 6,000 members, outstanding stuff, 6,027 as of this evening. Happy days, over 6,000. Now the long road to 7,000 starts.
Don't get greedy.
Don't get greedy. Right, got plenty to go through, gents. First and foremost, I want to start the show with this, man. Did you see the end of game interview with Ryan Hall after the Salford game? Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Eloquent, clearly knows the game.
Yes.
It was 90 minutes of sheer joy. And the bit that really made me happy was the ending of that interview, and this is how it went down.
A few people's necks warmed up, looking over their shoulder.
A final word then on the other side that we definitely know they're in the playoffs alongside you, and that's the newly promoted Lee Leopards, who have just added this very special story into season 2023.
They've been fantastic. They beat us in the Challenge Cup final, which we still think about from time to time, and I think they thoroughly deserved that. Obviously playing on the day. It was a hard game, and any team that wins in Golden Point probably deserves that. So credit to them, and it's a quality addition to Super League. I'm a Rugby League fan, and I want Super League to go up and up and up. And the more quality teams we've got in and around it, from League coming from the beneath, get them up there, get them in there, get them firing, get them performing that they have done this year. It's such a good thing to watch. That's what people want to watch.
We're all smiling here. You're absolutely brilliant. You are a Super League superstar, and you have given the competition a brilliant
sense in 9 minutes than the entire Sky pundits having a season. The man was electrifying. Love the moment that he said, "I'm a Rugby League fan." The passion. What a player, Ryan Hall.
It was good to see, and you're right. I mean, we speak about the Sky commentators on a weekly basis, it seems. But somebody bigging up the game and wants the game to expand, and wants to get, like we all do, we want the game to succeed. If anybody's watching the Rugby the Rugby Union World Cup, oh my word. Cool. There's been some good games. Fiji Australia was a good game, but it's not a patch on Rugby League. Not a patch.
No.
So brilliant. Great interview. Loved it.
That
Absolutely.
for me was...
Joel, you've been watching any of that silly code?
Absolutely not, no. Not a chance. Ever.
Good man. Good man.
Oh, thanks a lot, guys.
All right, mate.
Sorry, Greg.
Right.
I'll just take those knives out my back now, should I?
Right, we're going to get Joel's take on this because we don't want to be seen as biased, but it's been announced this evening that Paul Vaughan has got 4 matches for this. Yeah, for that. In a year where head-eye shots have gone unpunished and we're supposed to be looking at concussion, by all accounts, Matautia at 79 minutes and 30 seconds is injured. No, he's time wasting. In about 20 seconds time after that incident, and we'll see it in the highlights, he's like a jumping gazelle behind the goalpost as Mbai scores his try. Joel, what is the game coming to if that is a 4-game ban?
I'm going to be honest, I don't understand it at all. If anything, for me, that should really be a yellow card the other way around. Because, like you say, where is there any contact in that's of any sort of malicious of anything? You can see him rolling down and then straight back up again.
He's getting up, and
he's got straight back up.
Yeah.
And this is the thing that annoys me about stuff like this. We saw the news of that just before we went live. Was we all know that props are taught, part of their training is when you hurt someone, you stay down with them. And unless you've got malicious intent with you, and we all know Paul Vaughan isn't that guy, he would have been hanging over him. He knew they might have even been having a bit of banter down there when they were down with heads together. We don't know, but 4 match I think is just it's despicable. It's terrible.
Yeah, season over for Paul Vaughan. And like I say, I know there was a precedent set earlier in the season with Sean Kenny-Dowell that equally was stupid as well. I think
Matautia last year got a couple of games equally stupid.
Needs looking at. I mean, like I say, and you hit the nail on the head there, Joel, mate, is the fact that rugby league players, and we see this across the entire sport, when a player goes down hurt, the opposing team is the first to put the hand up and get medical attention on.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
Greg?
When I heard he'd been cited for unnecessary contact, I'm thinking, has he done a Lynham coloscopy or has he done a making sun juggle? Something like that. And then when I saw this, I'm thinking somebody somewhere is having a laugh, except it's not funny. And I think in this one decision, the match review panel has proved it is not fit for in this one decision. And I think rugby league as a community now has a duty to call for the match review panel to be abolished, because it's not only taking the game on a backward step, it's actively killing the game. You know, we've just had Ryan Hall saying he wants rugby league to improve. How does this decision, ending a player's season as the most important part of the season arrives, promoting the game, sending the game forward? As I've said many times, this would not happen in football. It would not happen in football. I can't enjoy rugby now because I'm dreading Monday morning when I see who's up before the panel. Yeah. A referee, if we get rid of the panel, referees have to do their job and carry out, not have the safety net of knowing if they don't do something, it's okay. There's a bunch of guys who, A, have been out of the game for 15 years or have never played the game, will make a decision on my behalf. Get rid of it. It is killing the game as far as I'm concerned.
Would any rugby league player in Super League today say that Paul Vaughan deserves 4 games for that?
No.
And that's it, innit? And for me, I'd have had a lot of respect had Sione Matautia had gone to that disciplinary hearing with Paul Vaughan to tell him how stupid they were. It was play acting, it was gamesmanship. That's all that is. And for somebody to get 4 games for that, you're taking at the critical end of the season when we want to see the best players on the field for every team, a proper contest in the playoffs. Should Warrington get there? Of course, that's not a given at the moment. But, you know, we want every playoff team to be at as full strength as it can be. Yes, if players are missing through injury, fine, but not bans for things like that.
No.
That's just taking our game back.
And the fact, sorry, Joe, but the fact of the matter is that Warrington could appeal that, but they're afraid to because the MRP will turn around and say, well, frivolous appeal, an extra game. And
they will appeal
it. Start of next season.
They
won't win the appeal.
No, the club is livid, mate. The club is livid.
Oh, I know.
Absolutely livid.
Yeah,
it's just unbelievable, mate. But, hey, we could go around in circles. It is what it is. We're not going to change it. One thing that I did find interesting, and let's try and lift the mood a little bit, boys. What did we make of this?
So, okay, can I just say my bit on this?
Go on, mate.
As a Giants fan, right? So, I was actually just on the plane on the way down from my holiday. So I landed just as the game was kicking off. Now, Freddie, very thankfully, were texting me and letting me know that he was getting some right stick from FC fans. So I think what he was doing there was he was just getting a bit of a, because you'll notice at the end he smiled and waved at him. So
I love how he runs off laughing.
Yeah, but the thing is, this is the thing. This is what I said to Freddie. I said, Jake plays his best rugby when he's having fun and, you know, get involved with crowd like that. Because even though you might not like it because you think, oh well, I mean, a terrible season. How dare he have that showboating? But the thing is, you know, I think it's good that when players have that crowd interaction like that, you know, it's something to talk about. It's
almost like he does it in slow motion. It's brilliant.
Mate, it's absolutely for me again. It's an entertainment sport that's entertaining, and in a week where the league has lost not only Paul Vaughan for the rest of the season, but dream team incumbent Liam Byrne, who is, of course, out for the season. Barry McDermott will be devastated. But yeah, we wish Liam Byrne well. And you know,
nobody likes to see.
Don't like to see him injured, but yeah,
out,
burn out. Great shame that for Wigan, albeit they're looking fine fettle without him. Shout out to this man, of course, announced that he is retiring at the end of the season. Won't be going around again for anybody else. Great career. His swan song at Huddersfield can only be deemed as a huge success, I would say, Joel.
Yeah, I've mentioned this before on the show. When he first came over, it was for a very short period. I'm not sure if it was 3 weeks or 3 months, but he was given a little because if you remember, he'd had some time off from playing, so he came back to us from not playing for a while, and I think it's just testament to how his game was from the beginning. Was he wasn't coming for a paycheck, which some people quite rightly thought, and he really proved his mettle from the very beginning, and I think he's going to be up there with the legends at the Giants for sure.
Yeah, Greg, we've enjoyed watching him, haven't we?
Certainly one of my favourite non-wire players of the last few years. I love Chris McQueen. Great player. He's everything that's right about, and when we're talking about everything that's wrong about the game, he's everything that's right about it. 100% every single game. One of my favourite non-wire players.
Yeah,
certainly the last 5-6 years.
Probably be best remembered for that try at Wembley, I would have thought. Cracking try. Good to see him on the end of it. And of course, somebody who's close to your heart, Joel, Jermaine McGilvery. Also, of course, not mention retirement, Joel, just not contracted. Is he going to retire, do you think? Or
that's right. No, well, I think it might be a bit up in the air. Freddie would know actually more than myself. Because if not everyone don't know that Freddie is his uncle.
Yeah,
so Freddie will know more than me. But I don't think he's necessarily retiring. But I don't know if there's a word on that yet. There's a lot of people saying, he's going to Bradford. He might hang his boots up. I don't know if he's a shoe yet, even, to be fair.
A true legend of the Super League era. I mean, arguably at one point, probably the number one pick on the wing for England, which says
You
know, been an incredible
over 200 tries in just over 300 games. That's phenomenal in rugby league. 16 years.
Yeah,
I think he's been there. 15, am I right, Joel? He's been there 18 years. Played for 16.
Yeah, that's right. A lot of people don't realise that. It was only from a conversation with Leroy Cudjoe that he came to the Giants in the first place. Yeah. So if it wasn't,
Cudjoe goes around again, Joel. Yeah.
Say again, sorry.
Good. So Cudjoe goes around again, which is based on this year's form. I believe he got the Supporters Player of the Year as well. Did
Cudjoe? Yeah, rightly so. Yeah. I think he's predominantly going to be playing second row, I'd imagine. With the signing he's got
at pace, hasn't he? Yeah. No, absolutely. And also announced, of course, Price we know is going to Newcastle Knights, Theo Farge off to Catalan Eagles, Trout expected to be announced at Lee, George Roby, Jack Ashworth, Nathan Mason also leaving the Giants. Player of the season for the Giants, as announced last night, Kevin Nagama. Fair to say, I wasn't surprised, if I'm being honest. I thought Cudjoe would probably run him close. I think Cudjoe's been good for you this year, but yeah, Nagama, of all the imports that you brought into the club, he's the one that's shone, hasn't he?
Well, he was the one that everyone were talking about when he came.
Yeah.
Such a high-profile player. He had a lot of success at Saints, and he didn't play much at Sydney, but he had good games when he did play. He's just one of them quality players. I think he's brought something that we've really lacked this year is a bit of pace, because we are struggling with that, and obviously that's something we're sorting out. But he's gave us that pace that we sorely needed.
Yeah, class act. Great player.
Great player indeed. Yep. Right, what we're going to do is we'll take a little break from the conversation. We'll have a quick look at the tries of round number 26. Sorry, here they come.
today.
Well, there they are, the tries of Brown with 26, some outrageous skill in there. Sam Tompkins won the lovely offload from Toiler to Will Price, another highlight. My pick, I like that bachelor try at the end. If you're going to seal playoff rugby league, lovely way to do it. Boys, start with you, Greg. What was your pick of that lot?
I love the Ikahifo one.
Yeah,
And the Jack Hughes ones for sheer strength. They took some scoring, but you know, I think the Sam Powell one was good because he could have quite easily have dropped that ball.
Yeah.
I think I'm with you. James Batchelor was my favourite try. I think Hughes and Ikahifo, that the strength he showed, exceptional, but for skill and for quality, I think James Batchelor for me.
Yeah. Joel?
It was nice to see Lee Kershaw getting in. He had a really good game.
Steph's in the chat saying that based on that performance, he'll get snapped up by somebody in the
without a doubt,
the winter.
Yeah,
I think the main one for me though had to be the selflessness of Marshall assisting Jake Waddle there, because 9 times out of 10 he just scored that, and he could have done if he wanted to.
You can't argue with any of them, really. It's just personal favourites.
Some really good support play in there. Like you say, it was a real mixture of flair, strength. Like I say, that Sam Tompkins, that was outrageous. We always have a bit of tongue in cheek on Sam, but that was a touch of magic and quality if ever you've seen it. Right, let's carry on.
Season.
About time, yeah. I'm sure he's got a few goal thought points for that one, Greg. Don't you?
Oh, mate, he'll have at least all 6.
Absolutely right. Let's carry on our little trip around the grounds. Of course, announced that Joe Westerman got the Castleford Tigers Players Player of the Year and Player of the Year. I was really surprised at this. We put a poll out today on the forum. Who would the fans forum say has been Castleford's best player? And with 54% of the vote, I agree with us as well. Jack Broadbent was the one that the fans forum have said. I personally think Broadbent this season has been exceptional for Castleford, played in a variety of positions, but Westerman gets it.
Yeah, and he won't be there next season to all intents and purposes, if you listen to what's going on. Yeah, but, players see different things than we do. So, to get both of them, he's obviously doing something right this season. He's a good player, Joe Weston. He's a really good player.
Yeah,
he really is. Yeah. Can't argue. Well, you can argue with it, but
it is what it is. Joel, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, a bit mixed on this one. If I had my choice, it would have been Broadbent as well. Jack's been brilliant. But to be honest with you, I think the issue with Joe is that his professionalism off the field has been publicised quite heavily this year, as we know. Won't talk too much about that. But then his professionalism on the field is completely different, and he's a great player. So, yes, he deserves recognition, but for me, I'd have said Jack Broadbent would have got a more plaudits for me than anybody, because he's just never given up, and he's played at different positions and done well.
Yeah, and it's been a tough season for Castleford this year.
Yeah.
A tough season.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously he's got and by his own admission, a pretty poor relationship with alcohol. Good evening, Joe. Hope you're well. But on the Wakefield, sorry, it's terrible.
Good evening.
Good evening. Wakefield, and we also put a poll out for Wakefield, and 64% of the forum currently think that Jai Whitbread has been Wakefield's best player of 2023. I think I've been impressed with Jowett as well, but yeah, I've got no issue with that. He's been in and out a little bit with injury, I think, with Brad, but when I've seen him, he's been quality.
Yeah. Sorry, Joel, go on, mate.
No, I think he's been the best player. He's talked about for a reason, isn't he? You know, playing for Wakey, you can quite easily go under the radar, no matter how you play. But the fact that he's been talked about, and obviously at end of year, everyone's going to try and snap him up. I think they'd be silly not to. Just his testament to him as a player.
Yeah.
Well,
I've nothing to add to that. He has, for me, been their outstanding player of the season. In, again, a very, very poor season for Wakefield.
Absolutely. Well, rumour has it Hull KR, Leeds Rhinos and Warrington Wolves at the moment, the three teams being linked with Jowett Bread. We'll have to keep a close eye on that. Of course, some other breaking news today coming out of Castleford. Greg Eden is the option. I can't believe this. And actually, we put it in the post. We put it on the Facebook forum. I'm amazed at how many Castle fans are not too bothered about Eden going. Personally, 112 tries and 121 appearances. This season, arguably, Eden has had his hands all over their best performances this season. Can play a variety of positions. A Castleford man through and through. Yeah, people will say about his injuries, he's only played 15 times this season. But if you're bringing other players in, like that man on the screen, rumour has it, Luke Hooley is going to be brought in from the Leeds Rhinos. For me to have a player like Eden in the background, who can slot in here and there as and when required. I mean, whether Eden would want to do that, I believe Featherstone have offered him a good deal should they get promoted. But I was really surprised to see Eden going. What about you guys?
Joel, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I was very surprised because that Eden's he's just solid. He's just a great, solid player that you can rely on. You know, very rare does he drop balls. You don't see much knock-ons from him. He's so quick. He's getting on a bit now in rugby terms, but I tell you, he is rapid. He's Greg Eden. He has been all his career. He doesn't seem to slow down. But he's also great for an assist as well. So yeah, I don't understand that, to be honest with you.
Me too. I think every time I see Greg Eden play, he scores.
Yeah.
Hooley, he's got potential, but he is prone to a few errors.
Yeah.
Has it been confirmed that he's going to Casford? I think Rowan Smith was kind of denied this week, wasn't he?
No, he hasn't really, because obviously they're bringing the lad in from the NRL, and in his press conference today, Rowan Smith he wouldn't be pushed on it, but the undertone was that if an offer came in that was right for Hooley and right for Leeds, he would be allowed to leave.
Yeah, well, I hope. Do you know what? I hope for Greg Eden's sake that Featherstone do offer him a good top contract, do come up and he plays them, and he continues to play for a few good years because he's a good player.
Quality, mate. I've got a lot of time for him.
Yeah, he's I'd have rather had him than Greg Minnikin at Warrington, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. But that's another story. But like I say, every time I've seen him, he's always scored a try. He's got tries in him. He's solid, as Joel says, safe under a high ball, can play. I think he's even played. Am I right in saying he's played in the halves as well?
Mate,
at one point?
Well, to be fair, he played one or two for us in the arse.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a great player.
Centre, wing, fullback, wing.
I'm sure he's played at standoff. I'm sure
he's played 2 or 3 games at standoff. Yeah. He played at standoff at the weekend.
Good.
Yeah.
That's what was in my head, yeah.
Very, very versatile. Right, we move on, but no, like I say, I think if Featherstone, first of all, they've got to get up, but if they do, I think find a good, decent player there, and let's hope he can stay injury-free, because I think he's one of the most potent wingers in the game, and his stats prove that. Like I say, 112 tries in 121 appearances for Casford. That's dynamite stuff. That's outstanding.
Yeah.
Joel, get giddy, my friend, because at Hull FC, Player of the Year, Mr. Adam Swift, on his way to the Huddersfield Giants. Oh, yes. Unfortunately, at the weekend, he was on an incredible 11-game try-scoring run, 14 tries in that 11 games. That came to an end at the weekend. But Adam Swift, mate, you've got to be delighted that he's on his way to you.
Oh, it's tasty stuff, is that? It's what we need. That's what I've said. We've been calling for some speed. That's one of the reasons why we struggle this year, because we've got age. Lads are just not as quick as they were. Don't get me wrong, we have got some lads like Will Price, but he's going. Theo Farge, going, injury prone. So really, the only people we've got is like Nagama and now having Swift and others coming through and coming in. It's going to be a different team next year. I do strongly believe that. And having Adam Swift is a sign of intent. It shows that we're not looking to just play the simple rugby anymore.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
we'll talk
again.
about that during the winter.
Yeah, again, I can't understand Hull's thinking in letting him go, to be honest. But
Savelio as well.
Hull, yes, Savelio. Savelio has been a bit hit and miss this season, if I'm being honest. On his day, Savelio is unplayable. But I think, he has had a lot of injuries in his career. Maybe they're catching up with him. But going back to Adam Swift, I mean, Hull's loss is definitely Huddersfield's game.
It's unbelievable.
He can score tries. He can score tries, this lad.
He's a unit.
Absolutely.
He's an absolute machine.
Yeah.
He is, mate. And Kev Wall saying it's a coup. It's a coup getting Swifty down to Huddersfield. That's what Kev's saying in the chat. Couldn't agree with you more, Kev. And
I tend to agree.
absolutely. The fans of Hull FC went with Jake Clifford. And of course, this lad who, I had a bit of a go at him when he played Leigh and he scored his first try in the senior team. But I have to say, the more I see Davy Litton, the more I think that there is a potential superstar in that lad. And we'll keep a very close eye on him.
Yeah, he's one of a few young players at different clubs that are coming through and could be the future of the game. I think Davy Litton.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more. So obviously tonight, Hull KR having their end of seasons awards due. Whilst that's going on, guys, if you had to, this is a tough one, because KR for me, there's many a candidate. The sentimental one of Sean Kenny Dowell that'd be in there. I think Mikey Lewis has been brilliant this season. I think Opachik has gone under the radar and has been steady away. Greg, me and you, big fans of George King.
I'm just going to say George King, mate. Yeah.
Parcell, Litton, bloody not Litton, Lynette, sorry. You've got Batchelor, you've got Minchella. This is a tough one. Who do we think Hull KR are going to announce as their player of the season, Joe? All right, we'll go to Greg.
Well, it's hard.
Go on, Joe.
Lads who could quite easily take it, right?
Yeah.
So, Lewis, Jez, Sean, SKD. They'd be my choices.
Who would you go with as a neutral in that? Who would you go with for KR this year?
Sean Kenny Dowell, just for the work
SKD.
ethic. Yeah.
Greg?
If they want showbiz, they'll go with Mikey Lewis.
Yeah.
But for me, I would pick Sean Kenny Dowell's a good shout. And is it his last season?
Yeah, retires. Yeah.
Maybe sentimental value. They might pick Sean Kenny Dowell. But for me, Minchella has been solid all season.
I was just going to say that's a shout.
Yeah.
Good shout.
It depends which way they go. If they want showbiz, it's Mikey Lewis. If they want, the feel-good factor, it's Sean Kenny Dowell. But for me, Minchella has been absolutely incredible for them this season. Absolutely incredible. Held the pack together. Been a good link between backs and the pack. Scored some good tries. Awesome in defence.
Yeah.
I'd go for. If it was me, I would go with Minchella.
Fair play. In the chat, Dawn Baker's agreeing with you. She's gone Minchella. Freddie McGilvey saying Sean Kenny Dowell. Steph saying Batchelor. I think Batchelor's had a good season. I think he was out though for a period of time, wasn't he?
A good shout. He's come well. He's come good at the end of the season, Batchelor.
But he's class. He's class. He is class. But really good shouts. But we'll keep an eye on that. We'll know that. We'll know more end of season dinners over the course of the next week. So
of course, Warrington had their end of season dinner in April.
No. It's, I'm led to believe it's next week, sir. But anyway,
that was a joke for our St Helens and Wigan fans.
I know. Super League Raw Fans Forum, as you can see here, is the Fantasy League and Ryan Birch. Look at that. Ryan now within 80 points of Reggie Allen. He's on his way back. The boy in a somebody by the name of Dave Kane got 624 and got the highest score this week. Who's that man? God only knows.
I say there's a whiff of corruption here. So,
absolutely shocking, absolutely shocking. But no, it's game on. A shocker there for Reggie's Rockets last week. Only 393 points opens the door for Ryan Birch. Good efforts, Ryan lad. And I think Lee Goddard's a little bit too far behind now, as is Darren Chadwick. But yeah,
you never know. In the final week, stranger things have happened.
You never know. Ryan's back in here, thought to keep it entertaining. He loves it, does Ryan, doesn't he? He's getting giddy, the boy. He's getting the giddy. There's no doubt about that. Right, let's take a look at the top performers for round number 26. Here they come. It's a Giants Fest in top performance this week. A Giants Fest, I'll have you know. Unbelievable stuff. But some new faces in that. Well done to each and every one. Right, let's start the look back at the week that was starting, of course, at the Halliwell Jones Stadium.
We have to.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought it was a great game. This man here, I thought was outstanding in the first half, Curtis Stoonen. He was bang at it on that left edge.
Who's that, to me or Joel?
Whoever.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he was. I mean, being fair and giving an honest assessment. The first half, Saints absolutely battered us for the first 20-25 minutes, and we were lucky not to be out of the game. It was only some great defence and some wayward play by Saints that really kept us in it, I thought, in that first half. The Saints were dominant in that first half.
Yeah, for me, what I love watching Johnny Lomax, because he does what not a lot of people do. Is he doesn't look at what's going ahead of him. He looks 3-4 players ahead of him.
It's a game of chess for Johnny Lomax, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. And people say about like having that rugby brain. It's one thing knowing about rugby, but it's another thing doing it on the spot with split-second decisions.
Yeah,
and making the right decisions as well. And he does it so many times.
Yeah, Dave, and Joel, can I ask why the referee, who clearly sees that as a try, goes to the screen? I was nonplussed when Darryl Clark scores the try and he goes to the screen. He clearly sees it.
This is something for me where the officiating needs looking at properly. It's kind of been going downhill for the past few years. And it's like no one seems to know what they're doing anymore.
Again, I think there's too much of a safety net for officials. I think they've got the MRP match review panel. They've got the video ref. There's too much of a safety net for them to be able to not make the right decision, if you like. I mean, that's clear. He's there. He's in front of that. He clearly sees it's a try, doesn't go to the screen. Fair play. This is a try, doesn't need to go to the screen. And then Darryl Clark scores a clear try and he goes to the screen. And I just don't understand it. He stood there and he sees him. I don't even know why he went to the screen.
Yeah. Well, what I would say, and I said this on In the Sheds, that we desperately need the captain's challenge, and in this game it was shown. There was a couple of real howling decisions that had there been captain challenge, they would have been.
The ball strips that were given as knock-ons, and the knock-ons that were given a ball strips, and we all know which way they went. If in doubt, penalty to Saints. It seems to be the mantra. But how is that? How is that referred to the video referee?
Who knows? Who knows?
You know, the video referee should have it in his power to say to the referee, please don't waste my time with decisions like that.
Yeah, right, well, absolutely. Now, if you blink, you'll miss this, but this is literally 15 to 20 seconds after Paul Vaughan's 4-match ban, little tug on the shirt. And in a moment, if you blink, you'll miss it, but you'll see Mr. Batautia jumping like a gazelle in a moment. Here he comes. This is an injured player by all accounts. There he is.
Yeah.
In fine fettle to me. But there you go.
Look at him. He was a career-ending injury seconds before because he had his shirt pulled.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. But there you go. And I tell you what was quite appalling as well is the fact that game had so many incidents and so many, talking points. Really disappointed that the Rugby Football League and Super League decided that only 2 minutes is worth the highlights. There was far more highlights than 2 minutes in that game.
Well, the try that wasn't a try when Wrench went through, and was it Nicholson was pulled back?
Yeah.
I mean, that was an absolutely,
Yeah.
Well, I think there was a yellow. I think there was a yellow card. But,
yeah, Benison got a yellow, didn't he?
Yeah, but the thing is, after that, I mean, the last 10 minutes, I mean, decision after decision went to Saints.
Yeah.
I think it could have swung the other way quite easily, though, as well.
I thought Warrington showed a lot of spirit second half. I mean,
I did second half, yeah.
As you were saying, that first half, they were battered. They didn't get out their own half until 30 minutes in the game. I thought Leon Hayes as well showed what he's about, and I think he can only get better. He had a great second half.
Warrington have now got to play Leon Hayes for however long our season lasts, whether it's one game or 2 games or whatever.
Yeah.
He has to play instead of Drinkwater when Williams is fit. Either that or we lose him to somebody like Saints or Wigan or Leeds, and he will come back to haunt us.
He's a player.
He's a class player, Leon Hayes. We have to now play him. And I'm hoping that Sam Burgess will see that and will play him. I really do.
Hopefully so. Albert Goldthorpe medalling this one, 3 for Wellesby, 2 for Lomax, 1 for Makinson, and Paul Vaughan made his 250th career appearance. Going back to what you guys were saying about Lomax, for me, Lomax shows his class in big games. Against us in all 3 games this season against us, he's been on it. He'll be in the playoffs. He'll take his game to the next level. Lomax, he's just that type of player.
I know, Joel, you don't watch Union. I do because my youngest daughter plays it as well. That's my excuse. And I watch it on her behalf so she can learn the skills. But I think Lomax is a player who could have quite easily been a success at Union because he sees, like you say, 4 or 5 plays ahead. It's a bit like Andy Gregory in that respect. Andy Gregory was a player who could see 4 or 5 plays ahead and could see what was happening, could read the game. I think Lomax is one of those players.
Yeah. And as well, he's also someone that's going to be, when they're struggling, he'll grab the game by the scruff of the neck and he'll lead them as a good leader could,
Yeah. Saints have got leaders across the park.
Absolutely. I think Dave's stuck in time as well.
Eh?
Dave's stuck in time.
Oh, yeah. You all right, Dave?
It's all right. We can do it.
Oh, he's gone. Oh, well, now the real show starts.
And he's back.
I'm back.
Right,
Good evening. Don't know what's happened there, but it happens.
We were saying how much we were missing you, Dave.
I'm sure you were. I'm sure you're being kind. But apologies.
Always.
Don't know what was happening there, but hey ho, we move on. Back to the Wigan game. Here we go. Let's get that one back to the start. Now, last week we were talking, weren't we, about Abbas Miski. What are the chances? I had him down for a brace against Castleford, and what do you know? He gets 5. Top of the high scoring charts, 27 now for the season. Wow.
Yeah. And when you consider he didn't start the season.
Yeah, incredible.
He's had
incredible
the season to remember, hasn't he? Wigan, Wigan always do this. They find a player each season. They find a player that just does this for them every season without fail. They find a player who just, rips it up. It's incredible.
Yeah.
How
He's
they
been
do it every
outstanding.
season.
Wardle's coming into form as well.
Yeah.
What really impressed me with this game was a try that we just saw just a few seconds ago. The kick went over to Miski, right? He did not even look at the ground. He had his eyes on the ball the whole time. And we talk about game sense. He has game sense. That lad knew where the try line was. And a lot of these tries this week, I don't know if you've noticed yourself, was very much of these players know where they are on the field.
Yeah, a natural instinct.
Yeah.
That's it.
Like this, just a dive.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the good things. Sorry, mate. One of the good things. Rule changes. One of the best rule changes is taking the corner flag out of the equation
100%.
because we've seen some spectacular tries.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dave.
So,
what were you going to say?
Saying about French again was at it in this one. There's a lot of talk. Sam Powell is being looked at by Leeds Rhinos as well, isn't there?
Interesting.
Well, he kind of got a bit of a titty lip on him, didn't he, earlier in the season? Because O'Neill was starting in front of him,
and Leeming's coming next year, so he's not going to get a look in, is he?
No.
So
it'd be a shame for Sam Powell because he's a Wigan lad through and through, and he's been loyal to Wigan. It'd be a shame if he got cast aside, to be honest.
It depends though, because so a lot of teams now, have you noticed, are starting to have the nines playing at one half and then other half, so they're playing full out for 40 minutes. So the only way they're going to keep by doing that and having a starting nine and then a backup nine.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen,
Yeah.
I mean, that was unselfish and Toby King there.
It was. To be fair, mate. Toby's learned to pass at Wigan. What I would say,
maybe his dog was barking on the sidelines.
Maybe, but if you get the chance to look over these highlights again, virtually every Wigan try goes through the hands of Bevan French. Standing up defenders, kicks over the top. Obviously, he scored his own. He's blistering pace. I mean, here he is again. He's got his hands all. I mean, Joel, as you rightly say, this is a lovely try. Look at that, boom, right on a plate. Have that, fantastic stuff. Yeah. Wigan are just at the moment. It's frightening how well Wigan are playing. They, for me, are the team to beat. There's no doubt about that.
It would appear so. It would appear so.
Yeah, I would say so.
The thing is, it's frustrating because Wigan play a type of rugby that you want to see in your grand finals, but then you start getting frustrated when you see Wigan in grand final all the time.
Yeah. And I mean, Dave has said this for weeks. The Lee Hawkeye Challenge Cup final was the biggest breath of fresh air this sport has had in years.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Probably
since the Warrington Huddersfield final in 2009.
It was a great game as well.
It was a great game. It was, and everybody suddenly was talking about rugby league.
Yeah,
Lee have been a breath of fresh air. They've done something different. They were ridiculed at the start of the season, and they've stuck two fingers up at absolutely everyone.
Yeah,
and you're right, Joel. I don't, as a neutral rugby league fan, we don't want another Saints Wigan, Saints Leeds grand final. We're not going to get a Leeds in the grand final, but we want something different, I think, as neutral rugby league fans.
There's a lot. One thing this season has taught us: expect the unexpected.
Yeah,
certainly.
Yeah,
it's not over yet. Not over yet. Yeah. The Albert Goldthorpe, no surprises. 3 for Bevan French, 2 for Abbott Smisky, 1 for Jack Field.
Can I ask a question before we go any further?
Go for it.
Dream team.
Yeah.
If Bevan French was to make the dream team this season, what position would he be picked at?
It'd have to be standoff. That's where
he's played a few positions this season, hasn't he?
Yeah, majority.
Wing, I think he's played fullback a couple of times.
The majority of the season he's played at standoff.
Mm.
If you actually break it down, he's played more at standoff than any other position this season.
Are there better standoffs in the dream team than him though?
Well, I mean, the injury. Obviously, George Williams' early form. I think he's petered out. Quite frankly, I can't see how he can be in the dream team now. Personally speaking, we know that he was in and around at the start of the season. Yeah. Johnny Lomax, quality, but you look at French's stats. I mean, they can't put him anywhere else, but he has to be in that team. So for me, on that basis, you have to put him in the team. He has to be standoff. He has to be picked. I just don't see how it can be any other player. I love Lomax.
From standoff as well.
Pardon?
Most of his flashy players have come from standoff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I'm right in thinking, mate. I'd have to look back at it, but certainly, round 14 was magic. It was standoff by then. I'm trying to remember. Maybe Steph can tell me. Rivals round. Actually, no, they played Saints, didn't they? I'm pretty certain Rivals round was round 8, and he was at standoff. So that's how many games he's played at standoff. And as good as Johnny Lomax is, and
it's just. I was just throwing a question out there. It's an interesting conundrum for the powers that be that decide the dream team.
Yeah,
certainly is.
Well, Steph's saying don't count out KR, and I agree with that. I think if there's a dark horse to get to the grand final, it is Hull KR. I think they're coming into some great fun at the right time. Alex Mello, he's 150th Super League appearance in that game as well. Right, Lee Leopards. I couldn't believe this. As I went out of the HJ on Friday night, I could not believe it was 19 apiece. Unlucky Wakefield Trinity.
I was told that this had finished 19 apiece at the HJ.
Did you?
Yeah. By the way, good evening to Jack, who I was talking to at the HJ on Friday night. But yeah, I was told going out the ground it had finished 19 all, so I was completely gobsmacked when I found out that it was a golden point.
Yeah.
Not wishing to spoil it for anybody.
No. But no, couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. And I fear for Wakey this week. Of course, they play KR at home, but the body language, you'll see it when this final golden point kick goes over. Wakey.
Did Charlie drop that? Does Charlie drop that?
This was great, Hughes. That was
the strength on that.
What's your take been? I mean, Wakey, too little, too late. But you look back at the Salford golden point, this golden point in another season, Joel, could have been different for him.
It could have been, because like this game here, for example, this is just like epitomises what they've done when they have played well. They've played like it's like a grand final. And I think what they should have done was when they realised when they got to round 10 and they were still without a win, I think it was then, it was like, come on, you need to start really booking your ideas up. And then, like you said, Salford game, Lee game, even when they played Saints and put an effort in, they played like it was a grand final. Every time they score, they're rallying around each other. And then you could see after the game, this one here, I felt for them because they were all on the floor, absolutely just gutted.
It's devastating for if you're a Wakefield. I mean, we were close last season, but it's devastating if you're a Wakefield fan to lose like that. They still had a chance to stay up until that moment.
Yeah.
It's you got to feel for the fans. Perhaps this season is the best season to get relegated, though, because next season, if you get relegated, it might be a different story. So perhaps
they'll be back. I think they've done. I think they've done enough off the field to probably get a license. Even if Featherstone do come up, it'll be a 1-year job because they won't get a license. And so the door's going to be ajar. The only concern for, I don't think there is concern for Wakey, but I think the likes of York have got a good infrastructure. Halifax have got a good infrastructure. Bradford, perhaps not so much though. Bradford
on the financial issues might struggle, but
I think
as I say, if you're going to get relegated, then maybe this season is the best season to get relegated. Bounce back next season, and
they can do a league.
Yeah,
you can do a league.
Why not?
They can go down to they can go down to the Championship, consolidate, and come back. 3 Albert Goldthorpe points for Tom Amone in this one. 2 for Kershaw, deservedly so. And Jay Pitts. I mean, we talked about Whitbread. Max Jowett, Lee Kershaw. There, Jay Pitts, Liam Kay. There's been some players who've run the blood to water for Wakey this year. They really have. But then on the flip side of that, injuries as well. Tang, where comes to mind when it comes to injuries. But as Mark Applegaff says,
Fafita going back as well.
Yeah.
Jay
At least he went down fighting, mate. At least he went down fighting.
We talked a lot about Jay Pitts early doors. He was playing really, really well early doors. But for a few, they could have quite easily beat us at the Halliwell Jones, but for Proctor getting sent off, we were poor that night, and they could have beat us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So,
another.
you know,
Pro-
but
Proctor's
that's
not
the way it
played all
goes. That's the way it goes. Sorry,
Come on,
Joe.
Joel.
Yeah, that's another thing. Proctor's not played all season either.
Yeah.
So, like, would it have been a bit different if he'd have found his form early on and, you know, had a string of games together? Who knows?
I mean, Proctor's world class, no matter how old he is. He's world class, Proctor.
Very good.
Yeah, Proctor and Fafita together would have been a decent second row.
Right, lads, we move on to this one. Catalan, they needed this. This was a good confidence builder for Catalan. Kieran, absolutely brilliant. Yeah, again, what a player Wigan have got next season. Wow.
Oh, mate, yeah. No wonder they're letting King go.
Oh, what a player. But Leeds Rhinos, 111 points to nil in the last 2 games.
In touch. I think he's in touch there.
61 nil, it really don't matter, does it?
No, it's neither here nor there, is it?
111 points to nil in 2 games. This is the Leeds Rhinos we're talking about. I've yet to get excited about any signings that I've heard announced. The quality that they are losing is unbelievable. Unbelievable. What is going on at the Leeds Rhinos? Somebody help me out.
I don't think I can, Dave. They've got a lot of injuries. They've got a lot of injuries. But even so, you know, we expect more fight than this from the Rhinos. This is a side that dominated Super League for many years. The simple answer is they haven't replaced the golden generation.
Correct.
The saying that Warrington haven't replaced that class of 2010 to 2013 that shouldn't but didn't win the grand final. Leeds have not replaced the golden generation. Sorry, Joel, I talked over you there, mate. I do apologise.
No, you're making good points. The thing for me was it's kind of been brewing all season, and this is from last season, I think, because of, you know. So first thing, you've got to put it into perspective. Leeds command results, as is Warrington, Wigan, Saints, and all these big clubs, right? So that's a given. When the point came where Hetherington and Austin, there was this thing with Hetherington and Austin, and then Rowan Smith had absolutely no idea that Austin has gone to Cass. That for me is like that's red flags, that, because I've never ever known a club, especially not Leeds, to bypass their head coach and make a decision like that. Because otherwise, what are you paying your head coach for?
Well, it shouldn't be done, should it?
No.
No.
And ever since then,
if Rowan Smith had integrity, he should have resigned on the spot. Well, not integrity, that's the wrong word. If he had any self-respect, he should have resigned on the spot once that decision was made behind his back.
Well, I think I said at the time, Greg, didn't I? You know, would Brian McDermott have stood for that? Would Tony Smith have stood for that? You know, would McClellan have stood for that? Absolutely not. They'd have been like, right, mate, I'm out of here because I'm not being dictated to on my squad. Not happening. You know, and maybe, you know, it's an odd one, that, because as a player as well, as players, how can you respect your coach when you know your coach isn't making the big decisions?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Tough, and then,
tough.
Yeah. But then there's also and the ramifications of that then is where you see the Leeds fans doing what they're doing online, because whether it be the frustration or whatever. And what I really did not like seeing was at the end of the game, their fans mouthing off like they did. It's like, just come on, man. Like, I understand you're frustrated, but there's a point where the line can be crossed.
As Warrington fans, we can't really say anything because we destroyed the away end at Catalan a few years ago. But yeah, I know what you mean. It's you can understand as a Warrington fan last season and early this season, the frustration is tangible, and it must be hard for Leeds who are used to this success. Absolutely. And you know, we seem to be saying every year, Leeds will scrape into the playoffs and be in the grand final. It seems to happen almost every other year, and they've been found out this year. But the fans must be so upset at the way that it's unfolded in front of them.
Yeah.
Over the, you know, the Agar what happened with Agar. They brought Rowan Smith in, and it turned it round. He got them to the grand final. You can understand the Leeds fans must have been expecting much better things this season, and it's just that there are a lot of injuries. We've got to hold our hands up and say they've suffered from a lot of injuries and a lot of missing players.
Yeah,
it's a team.
Well, I mean, but again, though, mate,
reserves.
There is the injuries, but then you look at Leeming. Leeming left the club. You've then got Austin has left the club. McDonald not coming back and now being picked in a president's 17 for Papua New Guinea. It's an absolute joke. This is the Leeds Rhinos. This isn't, with the greatest of respect, this isn't, dare I say it, a championship rugby league team. This is the Leeds Rhinos. And you've got players behaving in that way. You've got a Joel quite eloquently put around, Gary Everington and the Rowan Smith and the departure of Austin. For recruitment, you've mentioned that, Greg, since the golden generation, the recruitment has been poor. And again, you look at the recruitment for next year, it ain't great. I mean, that's not making me shudder going into next year. What's going to be at Leeds? What's going to be at Wigan next year makes you shudder. What's going to be at, Saints will go again. That's going to be, that makes you shudder.
Well, Saints and Wigan are the benchmark, aren't they?
Absolutely.
And Catalan have reached that benchmark this year. You said a word there, Dave, respect. Have they got players that respect that badge on their chest? And the answer's got to be, apart from a couple, and this is not saying every single player, but there are a couple of players that maybe don't respect that badge and understand what that badge means as much as they should. Perhaps. I don't know. Joel, what do you think about that?
There's the thing of, from the hierarchy, you lead from example, right? So that's what management's always, you're always told that, you always teach that, you lead from example. And if the very highest of high are disrespecting the management, the players aren't going to learn disrespect and discipline, because rugby is all about discipline.
Very good point.
Spot on, mate. Well, Dawn Baker's pretty much summed up what you've just said. She said it's like the old adage saying that a fish stinks from the head down. Spot on. What did you two make? Joel, I'll start with you on this one. What did you make? Brian Carney went for Newman at full time. Went for him. I can seldom remember a time when Carney has done that. It was all over Harry Newman. Paul Cook jumped in on it as well. This is a lad who, quite simply, his temperament is the flaw of genius. We've seen this in any sport. For me, the lad's got, when he just plays rugby, the lad's got it. The problem is he's got a temperament and a mouth that subtracts from that at a rate of knots. And I think Paul Cook said, if Sean Wayne's notice to him isn't enough to kick him up the backside, then Leeds need to make a decision. I mean, was you surprised by Carney? Do you agree with Carney? What's your view on that, Joel?
Well, the thing is, Carney's got to be careful anyway, because he's very close to the bone with a few things anyway. So he don't help the situation. And there's always this ongoing thing with John Wilkin as well, isn't it? They clearly just don't seem to like each other for whatever reason.
No.
But that's besides the point. I think what you've got to do is, when you're speaking about certain players, you've got to be very, very careful, because these players hear what you're saying. They say they don't listen to the media, but believe me, they really do.
They do. Of course
they're hearing everything. It's part of the job to know what's going on in the media, because they know how to then, why do you think, like, you look at Ryan Hall, why did he speak so lovely? It's because he's learned from some of the best speakers in the game. Maybe he has got a natural thing there, but he's certainly learned from people. I don't quite like it. I think when you're a pundit, you've got to call things out, but neutrality is also something you've got to be careful of, and not being too close to the bone. But
spot on.
I think the issue with Harry Newman is he has the potential to be world class.
Yeah,
it does.
He came through very, very young, and Brian Carney, the same pundits that were slagging him off, were hailing him as the Messiah. He gets in. He suffers a really bad injury, and he comes back from that. And then I think he was injured again. Harry Newman, I think, is frustrated. He has talent to spare, this kid. You put him in Wigan, Saints, and he's a different player and his attitude's different. And I think he's frustrated by what's around him. And I think it's a case of two things. He got perhaps too much success too soon. He was frustrated at the fact he was injured. And now he has a team around him that can't produce the goods. And I think you put Harry Newman in Saints, in Catalan, in the Wigan side, and he shines. And he loses that attitude because he's got the players around him that can bring the best out of him. And I think that is probably the issue there.
Maybe he just needs a new environment.
Exactly. That's, yeah.
I
And
agree.
an environment where he's respected maybe for the talent he's got.
But here's one vote for you, Greg. Would you
Go
want
on.
him in your team? Because I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
I think with
Ah.
a strong coach,
Yeah.
I think he would blossom. And I don't
What
think
a-
Rowan's, no disrespect to Rowan Smith. I don't know the guy.
Yeah, but forget
you know,
Rowan Smith, mate. For me, what does this say about the leadership group at Leeds?
Well, exactly. This is what I'm saying. I think in a different team, in a team like Saints or like Wigan, he would blossom and he would lose the attitude because he would know he's with a group of players. And again, no disrespect to Leeds and the players they've got, but he would know that he is a team that is capable of winning the grand final.
Well,
And I think that's where I think he's frustrated rather than what's the word? Spoilt, maybe. I think he's frustrated.
maybe if you go back to one thing, if you don't mind me just saying,
Go on.
if you go back to the golden era, right? Let's just pick one name out of the hat, Jamie Peacock. If you were playing with
Yeah.
Jamie Peacock, Jamie would not stand for any of that.
Exactly.
But he'd also be around the right type of leadership players as well, which Jamie
Yeah.
was absolute. JP was fantastic. So maybe he would, like you said, Greg, he might blossom around people, but unfortunately, he's not around people like that, and this is the byproduct of his environment.
Yeah.
Well, gents, we
yeah,
could keep going around in circles on this. I'm
we
sure
could
we'll
keep
come back
seeing
to
that
it.
foot in touch all night.
Yeah, we'll keep coming back to this. But Albert Goldthorpe, no surprise, 3 for Kieran, outstanding. 2 for Tompkins, Greg. 2 for Sam. 2 for Sam, the man. 1 for Garcia. Tom Davis, 150 career appearance. Tyrone May, who also had a belting game. KR fans will be very pleased to see his form.
I thought Tyrone May
Was
deserved at
outstanding.
least 1 point.
I agree. Quality.
Maybe 2.
Quality, mate. Matt Whitley,
Yeah.
100th Catalan Dragons appearance for him as well. Right, let's move on. Let's take a look at this game. Here it is, Joel. Hull FC, Huddersfield Giants at last. Something for you to maybe think about over the winter. And good to see Jermaine. That's lovely.
Great
to
try.
see Jermaine. I was happier seeing his support run for the prize try, really, than the actual tries. I thought his break for the prize try was absolutely beautiful. But
That's a lovely dummy, though. That
it is good win for this, Joel, albeit too little, too late.
Yeah, it was needed. I think for me, what was nice about this was obviously it doesn't really count for a right lot, other than the fact that it gives you a good run going into the pre-season. I think now. I've got to be careful because every year I've got this optimism that we're going to be these world beaters, well, these fantastic players we keep signing and they're doing absolutely nothing. But other than that, you know,
apart from that, mate.
apart from that, it is going to click at some point with a team of some sorts. But I think this was a show of what we can do. And you know, you look at Tui. He's had a season of 2 halves. The first half of the season, he was nowhere to be seen, wasn't playing great. The second half of this season, it's like he's had some, you know, he's had a right good kick up backside, and he's playing like he was last season. Jake Connor's now starting to find his feet. Eason Masters is now starting to find his way in the team.
Yeah. Again, Masters has been, I think, been a bit of a disappointment for you guys this season.
He has, but the thing is, you got to remember that he's really young. He's not. People think he's older than he is.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean that's from an outsider's point of view. You see
Yeah.
him week in, week out, mate.
No, you're right. He's
I
not
expected more of him. I've got to admit.
Yeah, I think he's going to flourish in the next, maybe not even next year, but the year after. I think he's going to come into his own eventually.
I hope so.
Well, he's got a good man to learn off in that man there, Nagama. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Because Nagama's been outstanding for you this season.
Yeah, it really has.
Lovely offload that. Look at that.
Look at that.
Offload. That is a thing of absolute beauty right there. Lovely stuff from Toilet there.
Yeah.
We play with some purpose. This is what we've done. We've ran teams very close when we play with some speed from the ruck, when we've not been slouchy or given up a little bit. One thing that we're very good at is we might get ahead or get somewhere close or score first, and then we think, right, that's it for the game. We can take his foot off. And the biggest thing we're going to miss is like Jez's runs, his hard runs, stuff that that people who don't see him week in, week out miss. The tries are amazing, but his hard work is a machine.
Yeah.
He runs like a prop. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's a big unit.
Do you know what? You wouldn't, if you were on the opposing wing to Jermaine McGilvery, you wouldn't fancy him running. He's like Ryan Hall. You wouldn't fancy him running at your full pelt, would you?
Well, you'd turn around, wouldn't you?
You'd turn around and run with him. You'd turn around and go for a jog with him.
I'd do him a tout here and say, after you, sir.
Love it. I'll tell you what was really interesting. The starting 17 for FC, I just didn't get it. Darnell McIntosh at fullback, Davy Litton was the 18th man. I didn't get that at all.
No, maybe Tony Smith, knowing that the season's over and the safe, was making a point.
I mean, Brad Fash as well. I think I mentioned that one in the shed. Brad Fash has played proper lot for Hull FC this season. I don't get it when you look at the likes of the Taylor that was on the bench and the other props that are in and around the team. He's better at and I know they've got to fit Cater Lane and the rest. I get that, but Brad Fash for me is a loose forward. That's where he does his best work. But he's been playing at prop. When I looked at that starting 17 for Hull FC, I was scratching my head. I was like, it was like square pegs in round holes. It was just really odd.
That's the thing. Yeah. Rather than loose forward, though, can you? That's the thing.
I mean, this is a great try.
It is a great try. It is a great try. And to be fair to Hull FC this season, they've scored some belting tries. They really have along the way. But no, this was better. But I feel I'm so disappointed in Huddersfield Giants this season. At the start of the season, I looked at the roster and I thought, you know what? This could be, all day long, they were going to be top six. I couldn't say.
Well, we said that at the start of the season, didn't we? We both said that. Yeah,
especially with the Challenge Cup the previous year, getting to the final, we felt they could build again. They'd made some great acquisitions, and for whatever reason, it has just been an absolute bag of spanners all the way through the season. It's been disappointing, Joel.
It's been a bag of spanners for Hull as well. Hull and
both of them. But you expect it of Hull FC.
Yeah,
you expect it of Hull FC. They do it every year.
But not with Tony Smith in charge.
Yeah.
The thing with us was I guess like you look at people like Pizzi, when he was playing with us before at 9, he was unreal. He was really, really good. And last year we had Danny Levi, and I think you don't realise what you've got until it's gone.
Yeah, big old mate. That was a vacuum.
Yeah, Danny Levi was a bit of a special player, wasn't he?
Quality, mate. Quality. Yeah. Albert Goldthorpe, no surprises. 3 for Tui Lolahea, 2 for Seb Ikehifo. We had a belting game for you, mate. 1 for the no-look Jake Connor. That's the way they went on that. Happy with that, Joel? Happy with those? As a fair reflection?
A Giants name in there,
yeah. Fair enough. Right, we get to the final game of round number 26, and of course, Salford, if they'd have won this, they'd have been in the box seat for the playoffs. Of course, KR still have a chance of getting to 4th spot. They weren't. That was a big
look at that.
That was a right.
Do you know what? An absolute shocker.
Yeah, not great. That ain't great. I think that's probably.
That's when I began thinking that Salford were going to knock us out of the top 6.
Well, Schneider's not made many gasps, but he makes up for it here, though. Look at this. This is a lovely try.
Look at that ball.
Look at that. That's a lovely try.
He saw that the ball, didn't he?
Beautiful. That's That's rugby league at its best. Look at that, yeah. I'll just double pump you and through that. Look at that for it. But that's a lovely ball, that. Beautiful. And I'm telling you, these are my, Lee have been great all season. I think they're just running out of puff. I think Warrington or Salford, whoever it's going to be, I don't think they'll get up to much in the playoffs. If there's one team that I believe could cause a big upset in those playoffs, it's Hull KR.
Oh yeah, absolutely. When they played us a few weeks back, I was just impressed that there didn't seem to be any weak links in the chain throughout the whole team. No. There was nobody that didn't impress.
Well, the fact that we had to deliberate who their player of the year was speaks volumes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And when you think that the injuries they've had, and Jordan Abdul's been out for a lot of the season, and then you think, would you put Jordan Abdul straight back in when he's fit? That says a lot for the team.
Yeah. And as well, another big thing that's been great for Hull, I guess this is all praise to their marketing team, was they've managed to now get sellouts. When they came to us, I've never heard a crowd as loud as that in a very long time. They are really, really loud. The support they have for the team, that within itself is worth 6 points.
Yeah. And was it the biggest crowd for 20 years, did they say?
Something like that.
Yeah.
I think they've just got it right. But, over the last maybe 2 or 3 seasons behind the scenes, KR have got it really right in terms of off the field and what they've done. And now this season, that's now started to be on the field as well. And the whole product, we talk about Lee and, what Lee have done.
Look at that.
KR, mate, did it first. KR did it first. Yeah, they might not have as flamboyant a chairman as Beaumont in terms of in the media and all the rest of it, but Hull KR over the last 4 years have done exactly what Lee's done. Lee's done it quicker, but Hull KR have done it as good. They've done the marketing right, the rebranding of the badge.
And look at what is it? Is it Market Street at the far end of the ground where they turn it into a street food disco? Absolutely fantastic.
They stay after the game, mate. So they've got, after the game, they stick around in that area on a couple of beers. And mate, fantastic what Hull KR have done. Wish them nothing but success in the weeks ahead. Albert Goldthorpe, 3 for Ryan Hall, 2 for Schneider, 1 for your man Greg, Mr. Minchella. He got the solitary goal.
Yeah, I would not be upset if I saw him get the Hull KR Player of the Year.
Well, we will be the in the process of dishing out those awards as we speak. So here we go. Yeah. What a fascinating. Let's just build this up before we do Team of the Week. Let's just have a quick look at the Betfred Super League. Wigan Warriors, Lee Leopards, massive game. Wigan win that game, they win the League Leaders Shield. Wigan lose that game, it's then over to Catalan Dragons and St. Helens. Lee Leopards will, of course, have secured themselves 4th spot. Wigan win, Lee lose. Hull KR could potentially, and I think probably would, overtake Lee. I would expect Hull KR to put a number on Wakey. Wakey looked completely deflated against Lee at the end. They've got nothing now to play for. I think KR will steamroll them. They're going to put a number on. So for me, if Lee don't beat Wigan, I think Hull KR will have the home game at Craven Park against Lee in the playoffs, but we'll discuss that in a bit more detail in a minute. Then, of course, that number 6 position, Warrington, Salford. Salford playing the Catalan Dragons. Of course, Catalan have to win that because, let's be fair, Wigan could slip. Don't think it will happen, but Wigan could slip at Lee. They have to be there ready to pounce if that happens. For St. Helens, the best chance for me of St. Helens winning the League Leaders Shield, it's incredibly unlikely that Wigan and Catalan both lose. That's the only way I see St. Helens lifting the League Leaders Shield because of the 4 and against. It is absolutely fascinating.
Can I ask a question though, Dave?
Go for it.
How quickly does it take a helicopter to get from Wigan to the south of France?
It starts at Salford.
Oh yeah. Anyway, good night, everyone. Next week. I'll see you all
anyway, not to worry. And on that bombshell, here comes the Team of the Week. Here it comes. It's the Super League Raw Team of the Week for round number 26. Here we go again at fullback. No, it's not but Will, oh yes, the price was right as Will put on his best display of the season. Rugby is the name of the game, and this was a magnificent attacking display by the NRL-bound fullback. Didn't he do well? At number 2 was the red mist that came down at the DW Stadium, impairing the Tigers' vision. Absolutely not. This was Abasmiski in scintillating form and racing to the summit of the try-scoring chart. He has now scored 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 tries in each game this season. 5, 4, 3 to 1. What a player! At number 3, the 2023 Huddersfield Giants Player of the Year showed why he was so deserving of the award at the MKM Stadium. A hat-trick of tries to lose class and quality. Nagama, a giant amongst men at the John Smith Stadium this year. At number 4, it had to be Adam Kieran. Oh, bring him in. Make him breakfast. This man from down under has had one of the best debut seasons of any Aussie import. The Bakers of Wigan will, I'm sure, be stocking up on kangaroo pies for next year. At number 5, just keeping out the impressive Lee Kershaw of Trinity is the joint try top scorer Tom Johnston. Like Jones, he helped himself to 2 wonderful tries, ensuring Leeds travelled home with chills and fevers. At number 6, as Oscar Wilde once said, it's beauty that captures your attention and personality which captures your heart. Watching Bevan French on Friday was beauty to gain anyone's attention, and it's clear to see why he's captured the heart of the cherry and white. Poetry on Super League Raw. At number 7, a scrum half. Well, you would be forgiven for thinking that Tui had been more about holidays than rugby league this year, but at last Lola Haya showed where his true talents were in this one. 4 fantastic assists ensured the Giants came away victorious. At number 8, he's back. The prop of 2023 was the boss yet again. He was born to run. He's tougher than the rest. He has brought glory days to the Leopards, and he's saving his last dance for, well, we'll have to wait and see. At number 9 is Edwin Mpape. Edwin and Tom have now appeared together in Team of the Week 3 times this season. Not since Edward Scissorhands have we seen appendages as useful as the palms of Mpape's. Clipping marvellous. At number 10, playing out of position and playing with grit and determination against Vaughan and McKaylee was Sione Matauti, who put his hand up for the Saints and dominated the front row to great effect, as Darth Vader once said. Impressive. Most impressive. At number 11, what a comeback from Curtis Sivonen. His first half display against the Wire was world-class example of how a second row forward should contribute to the game of rugby league. Keep a close eye on his contribution from now till the end of the season at 12. Not for the first time this season, Andre Savelio shone in defeat for the black and white. When he's on, and should he be heading to the Huddersfield Giants on this form, he could be a powerful addition to their pack. And finally, at loose forward for his 5th appearance of the season is Elliot Minchella. Do you want to see a man in motion? No need for a pair of wheels. Tell me where KR play. Minchella's on fire. Oh yes, Elliot Minchella. What a player. What a man. What a great loose forward. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your Team of the Week for round number 26. Team of the Week for round number 26. Only one more Team of the Week to go in the 2023 season. And Oscar Wilde makes his debut this week. Can't be bad. What are you thinking?
I'm just more concerned about the singing at the end.
Bit of John Parr, mate. Bit of John Parr. You know.
Can I just say, the only thing I was thinking, I missed half of that because all I was thinking about was I could just see you on ITV doing Saturday Night Takeaway up on standing back.
Oh, Joel, don't tell him that, mate. We'll never live with him.
Please play it again just so I can hear what went on.
No, but anyway, in all seriousness, that's the Team of the Week for me.
John Parr.
Bit of John Parr. We're a bit of John Parr anyway, again, mate. I like my Kieran one, mate. Bring him in, make him breakfast. Love it. Bit of damn men at work. Can't read a bit of that. Get it involved. Beautiful stuff. But no, a balanced team. And play, hey, mate, we've not seen that many Giants in Team of the Week over the whole season, I don't think.
I don't think. Not since probably week 3 or 4.
Yeah, we've not had that many, I don't think, in the same team. But Amone, again, outstanding. I tell you what, you've got to laugh at Super League. So whoever that panel, again, you talk about fit for purpose. Did they watch the games? Siona Matautia picked in the second row for Team of the Week and he played prop. Genius, isn't it?
Clueless.
Just genius, isn't it? Mate. Absolute genius. Honestly, what can you say? But there it is. There's the Team of the Week. One more to go. And of course, when we get into the playoffs, we will announce our dream team of 2023. That'll happen probably semi-final week, maybe. So we'll keep you posted on that. Right, round 26 predictions. This is how they were done. And Greg, mate, you didn't have your best of weeks. You didn't have your best of weeks, mate. It
Well,
has to be
there's a
said.
surprise.
Yeah, you've had a bit of a shocker, mate. It goes without saying, looking down Greg's. Didn't get the Warrington score right. Got the Wigan one right. Got Catalan as a team right. KR, again, didn't quite get the score right on that one, but got the team right. Back to FC, not Huddersfield. Big faux pas. And, of course, got you 2 points for Lee, albeit, of course, we all went 18 plus where Lee were concerned.
Yeah, so I'm probably wooden spoonist. You
are. That is how it looks. It couldn't be closer, could it? Look at that. Incredible. Greg, with his shocking week, goes down to fourth place. The fans for him.
It's quite strange how each of the last 3 years I've suddenly gone bottom the week before the end of the season.
Well, mate, you've got to start getting your predictions right, my mate.
You are the MRP, and I claim my tenner.
Well, but hey, it's still all to play for. There's nothing.
I'm only 11 points behind, mate. Only 11 points behind.
There's nothing in it, mate. It's still very much game on when it comes to the prediction league. It's been a phenomenal season, right? Of course, we're coming into what is a pivotal week. Where in terms of game of the week, it's difficult to give a game of the week when there's so much at stake. So let's do a little trailer before we get into the predictions. Here we go. Season comes down to this, the final round of Super League for 2023. So much at stake going into this one, and of course it all kicks off with this dead rubber. So we'll get this one out of the way pretty quickly. The Leeds Rhinos, of course, taking on the Castleford Tigers. Castleford going for 3 wins against the Leeds Rhinos this year. How they would love to end their season in that way. Can Leeds bounce back? Morale must be absolutely on the floor. Imagine
rock bottom.
Leeds.
Rock bottom.
If they don't win this one. Oh, toxicity. Where's Brittany Spears when you need her? Castleford 1 to 8. Gary Schofield has gone for this one. He sees it going the way of Tigers. Whilst Greg's thinking, Joe, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, do you know, I can't believe I'm saying this all day long. You'd have said Leeds, wouldn't you? But I'm going to go for Cass, I think, 1 to 8, yeah. There's too much upset in the camp. I just don't see any continuity because there hasn't been really, has there?
No. Well, I mean, it's 50-50 in the form at the minute. Obviously, I'll take the official poll on Thursday. At the moment, it's 50-50 in terms of Leeds or Cass on this one. Greg, where are you going with this, man?
Rough one, this. Tougher than it should be.
Yeah.
Rhinos all day long, you think?
Yeah.
They're at home.
Yeah.
Castleford haven't had a great season.
No.
Leeds have just been embarrassed by Catalan.
Yeah.
But like you say, I think there's an underlying factor, and I wouldn't be surprised if Cass win this 9-17. I've got to go out there now. I've got nothing to lose. I'm finishing bottom or I'm finishing top. I've got nothing to lose.
Well,
I'm going Castleford 9-17.
Mate, you say that, I'm with you. I've gone Cass 9-17. That's at the moment, that's 3 of us. Us, myself, you, and Gary Schofield locked in for a Castleford win at Headingley in round 27. Who'd have thought that at the start of the season? Right. From there, we go to this one. Now things start getting meaningful. Wakefield, for me, completely and utterly shocked after that league game. No surprises. Gary Schofield going KR 1 to 8 by 18 plus. I'm going KR 18 plus. Greg?
KR 18 plus. Be
Joel?
stunned. Be stunned if it's anything less than that.
Yeah, Joel?
Yeah, there's no more fuel in the furnace. It's a 18 pluser.
Right. So on that basis, then it's then over to the big one on Friday night, where there's so many connotations in terms of the top part of the playoffs. Lee against Wigan. Wigan 2 from 2 against Lee going into this game. We're saying that KR are going to win, and they're going to win big. That means that Lee, for me personally, have to beat the Wigan Warriors, or they will be going to Craven Park for that first playoff game. Wigan have to win to make sure that they get the League Leaders Shield. It's a fascinating game, this, on Friday. This one, well, it should be a belter here because both teams have played some superb rugby league this year. Gary Schofield, he sees this Wigan 18 plus. I can see why, based on previous games between these two this season. You do feel Lee need to start showing some sort of form, or else the season might just peter out, albeit they'll have took the Challenge Cup all day long at the start of the season. Schofield 18 plus. I'm going Wigan 9 to 17. Greg?
Interesting one, this. I am going Lee 9 to 17.
Wow, that's a big shout.
I am.
That's a big
I am
shout.
going Lee 9 to 17.
Yeah. Well, the forum at the moment live on.
And my reasons will become clear as we go through.
Go on. Oh, just so
I will talk you through my reasons as we go through the game.
You're just leaving that in the ether.
I'm doing an EastEnders.
Fantastic, lovely stuff. Steph Sales obviously delighted with you on that one. Kev Wobble, he's saying Wigan by 18. Freddie McGilvey, Wigan 1 to 8. A lot of love for Wigan in the chat. I have to say, the fans forum on the official poll on our Facebook fans forum at the moment, they're all backing Wigan as well.
Plus, I've got nothing to lose.
You've got nothing to lose. Yeah. The wave of opinion, other than your good self, Greg. Joe, where are you going?
So there can only be two ways of this. If Lee are going to win, it's going to be within 1 or 2 points. If Wigan win, it's going to be an 18 pluser. So yeah, I'm gonna go with because of what I've said, I'm gonna go with Wigan 9 to 17. But I think it's more of a Lee are going to view this as their biggest game ever.
Yeah. Oh, it's a biggie. I think the atmosphere is so.
I think this for Lee is bigger than the cup final.
Massive. Well, I think if Lee were to do what. Like I say, the wave of opinion, Greg, is against yourself, which is,
nothing to lose. Absolutely nothing to lose.
But if Lee were to win this, it could galvanise them. Because at the moment, I just see Lee petering out a little bit. And, the size of the squad and the emotion of the Challenge Cup and all the rest of it, there's no failure in that. But I just see Lee just bobbing along a little bit at the moment. If they was to do the unthinkable, and beat Wigan, and Wigan not to win the Shield. I mean, would the season get any better for Lee? Win the Challenge Cup, stop Wigan winning the Shield. Wow, what a season that'd be for Lee Leopards. But if they did, it could actually spur them on as they go into the playoffs. It could be quite profound in that way. So it's going to be interesting to see how that one pans out. Go on, mate.
The biggest thing for me is that Lee and Wigan play so very similar. So the question is, who's going to counteract or get on top of the other?
Yeah.
Wigan have been exceptional against Lee this season in the 2 games they played already. Hard to back against Wigan, especially considering the way they're playing as well. But hey ho. So that would pretty much, the wave of opinion at the moment is Wigan would win the Shield. However, Catalan have got to go to Salford and do their job to give themselves any chance of winning the Shield. And not just that, don't get me wrong, it's highly improbable. But that second spot isn't done and dusted either.
No.
It's not done and dusted. If Salford were to beat Catalan, I think if they did beat Catalan, it'd be no more than 9 to 17. I can't see them blowing Catalan away. But you could see Saints blowing FC away. So this is again, from a Catalan perspective, you do feel they need that home semi-final game. If they was to achieve that, it doesn't matter what Warrington do at Huddersfield, because Warrington would get in through the back door anyway. So again, this is another one of those games where this is why I've put Warrington, Huddersfield at the bottom of the totem pole, because actually this one takes precedent. I actually think that this will probably determine if Warrington get into that.
Yeah, and it will. I think he will.
So on that basis, Gary Schofield, he has actually gone Salford 1-8,
Wow.
which I think is unbelievable. I'm going Catalan 9-17. Joel, I'll start with you. Where are you going?
It's not a blowout. I agree with you, Dave. 9-17 for Cats.
You're for Catalan, yeah? You're going 9-17, yeah?
Yeah.
And Greg, go on, mate.
Well, I hate to say this, but I'm going 9-17 Catalan.
You're going the same, yeah?
Catalan have got their mojo back.
Right.
Albeit against a poor Leeds team, but they'll be brimming with confidence. And
So on that
9 to
basis,
17.
you believe Catalan will win the Shield? On that basis?
Well, let's just talk about the Saints game.
Okay. We go to the Saints game. Saints take on Hull FC. Again, you saw what happened. I mean, Huddersfield beating FC. I think FC 18 plus Saints for me. Gary Schofield's got 18 plus Saints. Joel, before we get the eulogy, go on.
Yeah, it's a cricket score. It's going to be 18 plus for Saints. Yeah.
Right, okay, Greg, talk us through your mindset.
You want a eulogy?
Go on, sir. Go on.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered here today. Saints 18 plus. Saints and Catalan, the top two.
Yeah, but they wouldn't be, would they? Because they would, wouldn't they? Of course,
Yeah, Saints and Catalan top two.
Yeah, they would. So you believe Wigan will lose at Lee, and it'll be Catalan first, Saints second.
Yeah.
Wow.
How else, ladies and gentlemen, will we have a Tompkins Roby grand final?
Wow. Unbelievable.
That is what I'm predicting. I'm
predicting wooden spoon.
Wow.
That's what it
I'm predicting a Tompkins versus Roby grand final.
Wow.
Catalan Saints.
I will bow to your knowledge, sir, if you're right.
It's not knowledge, it's just the fluence.
Yeah, I just think but hey, who knows?
Thanks, Dave.
Joel, do you think Greg's you want to pattern what Greg's on, or
I think it's quite amazing that you've been speechless, Dave, to be honest with you.
I wasn't expecting that. I have to say
what?
that is
I
mad.
would not be surprised if we have a Catalan Saints grand final.
I think it's a good thing that we're struggling to call it, right?
Yeah. That's what I'm feeling at this moment in time, that it's a Saints Catalan grand final.
Fair enough.
See, I'm going Lee Catalan.
I
wish it would be. I really if Warrington aren't going to get there, I wish it could be a League Catalan. I just think it's going to be a Catalan Saints grand final.
I feel like, I don't know why, and I know Wigan are absolutely immense, but I just feel like, when they get to it, are they going to think we've done it far too many times? It's a bit of a shoe-in. I know they're too professional for that, but is there an element of that at some point? A league just that good now? There might be.
It's happened to Saints in the past, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's happened time and time again, mate. And like I say, you wouldn't. I think for me, in terms of that top two, you wouldn't.
I just get the feeling that it's written in the stars that Roby's retiring, Tompkins is retiring. I just get this feeling that a Tompkins versus Roby grand final. Just
wow. Like I say, I don't see that, but I can
be interested to see what the chat says about that. I might be talking out of turn. They might disagree with me totally, but I just get this feeling that two major stars of the game, whether we like them or not, no matter what we think of them, they've got their chance to bow out on the biggest stage in rugby league, and that's what I think is going to happen.
I think the biggest, as we're sitting here now, I think the biggest problem, I think, for Wigan, because I think Wigan will win the Shield. I think they will. That's my view. And on that basis, they're probably, and Steph won't like me saying this, they're probably going to play KR in the semi. And that could be an Achilles heel for Wigan.
Yeah, so that's really could. We're not thinking about the quarters and semi, like the semi of it. Yeah, that's a big.
I think KR, Wigan. KR did a number on them in the cup. Saints. I'll be honest with you. If I'm Saints, would I want to play Catalan in the semi-final, or would I want to play Wigan away?
But if they finish top, they'll have a home game. If they finish first or second, they'll have a home game.
That's your view,
yeah,
and I get that. But just playing mine out for a minute.
Oh,
so KR Wigan, Catalan Saints. Who would you rather play?
But you're discounting Warrington and Lee there, mate.
I just think Lee, even though they were really good against Saints, and that was a level up in terms of intensity. I think Lee now will struggle. I think in the playoffs, based on current form. I could be wrong, but based on current form, they seem a bit up and down. And when you get to playoff rugby league, you can't afford to be in that type of form. I'm backing KR because they seem to be hitting the straps. Catalan, I reserve judgment until this week, but if they can have a convincing win against Salford, they're hitting the straps. St Helens have hit their straps. Wigan have hit their straps. Those four teams at the moment will all be going into the playoffs with consistency and wins against the name. And that's why those four, for me, are the four that'll contest the semis.
So, Dave, play it out like you said then. Is there any chance, because of the season starter that Saints had, is there any single doubt in their mind? Because for these past few years, there hasn't been any doubt because they've just won pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Whereas this year, they have been found out more than once, and it can't be just the beginning of the year because of the World Cup, because they had plenty of time after that. They just hit the straps and then started to play.
Yeah. I think the semis will be fascinating, mate. I think if those are the four teams that compete in the semi-finals, those two semis, providing both teams turn up, which is always the case, but in the same spirit of the Leeds Saints game, where they both turned up, where we've had games like that. The two semi-finals of the Challenge Cup where both teams turned up. If those are the semi-finals and they turn up, we're in for a treat, and they could go either way, because there's not an awful lot, as the semi-finals of the Challenge Cup proved, between those four sides, and I'm being dismissive of Catalan at this point, because Catalan, of course, weren't in the semis, but Catalan, Saints, Wigan, and KR, if they are the semis and they all turn up, wow, it could go either way.
I can't discount Catalan.
What?
Can't discount Catalan for being in the semi-finals.
No, they will be. I think Catalan will be. They'll be second, so they'll be straight in. Saints and KR will qualify from the first round of the playoffs. Catalan and Wigan will be first. Catalan second. Saints third. They'll beat Warrington.
No, I think Saints are Catalan top two. Wigan third. Lee, KR, Warrington. Warrington go to Wigan. Warrington lose.
No, they go to Saints, mate. Warrington go to Saints. Fourth place, sixth.
Not if Saints finish top two.
Third, third place, six, yeah.
Yeah. So Wigan, Warrington. Wigan win. KR or Lee, whichever way round. whoever wins that. And I think it's a Catalan Saints final.
Fair enough. So you're going Catalan Saints. I'm going to stick my neck
Yeah.
out. I've been saying all year, new name on the trophy. I'm just gonna go. Let's go out there. Catalan Hull KR final. I'll go out there. Catalan Hull KR final. Joel,
You just done a spanner. It works there. I was looking at the league table, and as it stands now, there's a very good chance that Hull KR or Catalan could make it to the final, right? So that's a big one. I hope what Steph said in the chat is going to be true, that when Lee do get to the final and play Catalan and beat them, I'll be not having to buy any drinks. That'd be great. Thanks, Steph. Cheers, pal. But yeah, I don't know. I think with Lee, it's a shame because there definitely wouldn't be a Lee KR final. That's an absolute given. If it was as it is right now, that's an absolute given because Lee and KR would play each other, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
But I think Lee know that they've had an amazing year and they want to run with that as best they can, because it doesn't mean to say it's not guaranteed that they're going to keep getting this success all the time. They've not been in Super League long enough yet for us to know that. So I think they're going to run with everything they've got and try and get into that final, and they've got the players to do it. I just don't see Saints being in that final for the first time. I think 5 times round is just too many.
but isn't it mad? All three of us now have said Saints aren't going to be in the final.
Yeah.
I've said Saints Catalan.
Oh, you've said so. Yeah, you've said Saints Catalan. You've said Saints Catalan.
I'm convinced Saints Catalan.
I'm going to say Lee Catalan, but we've all agreed that Catalan's in final, right?
I think. Do you know what I mean? As good as Wigan have been post being knocked out the Challenge Cup, I think over the course of the season, look, there's an argument. I mean, myself and Greg, we have big issues with. I think I don't know if you agree, Joel. Whoever wins the league for me.
Yeah.
And then it's a Premiership. It's the cherry on top.
It's an end of season playoff.
It's that's the way I see it. And so on that basis, the two teams that deserve to be in the grand final are first and second, whoever are first and second. That's just the way it is. But yeah, I think Catalan for me, Catalan more so because everybody wrote them off at the start of this season, and his acquisitions and the way they have played has caught us all by surprise. Lee have done the same, but Lee, of course, have had the Challenge Cup. They're delighted with that. I think every neutral in Super League's delighted with that. Yeah. I think on the basis that we all wrote Catalan off, and we did, it would be fitting for Catalan to go.
The reason why I don't think Lee or KR will get there is because they will have played every single game of the season.
Yeah.
It caught up with Warrington when they played every game of the season. Yeah. They couldn't get over the line. Certain teams can get over that line and play every game of the season and win. Saints,
champion teams. Yeah.
There's just one more factor to that, though.
Go on.
That Hull KR have started the ball rolling very quickly at the perfect time.
They have. I agree with you, Joe.
The other teams have kind of been up and down a bit all season, really. They've had good patches, bad patches. Hull haven't been bad. They've just got a lot better. And it's now like they've been stuck in second and third gear all season. And now they're thinking, right, 4th, 5th, and 6th, let's start steaming ahead.
Yeah.
Listen, we will only know the night of the grand final.
We'll know more come this weekend, won't we, as well? So finally then, let's get the predictions on this one. Do Warrington go to Huddersfield and win? Or do Huddersfield win and Warrington have to hope and pray that Catalan do a number on Salford? Which way are you going here?
Go on, Greg.
I am going to go Warrington 9-17 because I think they'll be angry about the Paul Vaughan decision. I think they'll be very, very angry, and I think they'll be fired up. So I'm going Warrington 9-17. on the Paul Vaughan factor.
Right. I think Huddersfield beat us 9-17.
Okay. Well,
I think Schofield's got Huddersfield 9-17. I think Warrington. I still think we'll be in the playoffs though, because I think Salford will lose against Catalan. So I still think Warrington will get to the playoffs, but I think Huddersfield, based on that win against FC and the manner in which they won it, and the likes that I think if Ian Watson just takes the flipping shackles off and says to him, just go out and play rugby league, lads, and go and enjoy yourself, smile in the face.
That's what happened against Hull. He took the
Warrington.
shackles off.
Oh, he's going to do.
Yeah, they beat Warrington because what you saw Huddersfield do against Hull FC. They just went and played rugby league with a smile on the face. Warrington at the moment have got the weight of expectation on the shoulders, and I just think no Vaughan. We know that Huddersfield's got a good pack. If the game went on for an extra 5-10 minutes when they came to our place to beat us, I just think Huddersfield will go. They'll play some expansive rugby league. They'll do us, but we'll still go to the playoffs through the back door because Salford will lose to Catalan.
I just think Warrington will be very, very angry.
Could work
what's
against
going
them
on this
one.
week. Could do, but I don't think it will. I don't think it will.
I'm with you, Dave, only because of this year. The main, so back at the very beginning of the season, when we played you guys, there was two factors that had the difference between the game, and that was Paul Vaughan and McKaylee. Well, Paul Vaughan most likely ain't going to be playing.
No, he's out. Unless Warrington appeal it, which I think they will. I think they'll do a St. Ellington and appeal the appeal.
But the knowing the difference is Saints get it sometimes. Yeah. And Warrington won't. That's the
agreed.
The but then, I think that Watson's going to give them free roam to do what they want and just play some nice rugby. And I don't think it'll be 9-17. I'm thinking 1-8, but I do think that we're going to win it.
Well, we will, but find out. As you know, we do this for the love of the game of rugby league. We hope you enjoyed the show yet again. Our longest of the season, that pretty much, I think, an hour and 50. But there was lots to discuss. So hopefully people have enjoyed it. Just do it in bite-sized chunks. Get yourself through this week's edition. Joel, probably get you back, mate. Maybe before now and the end of the season. You said maybe probably might do is actually get you both back. Maybe
I think Joel and Sale. Steph should
get Steph
call
back.
Him Sale. Why do you call him Sale?
Stephanie Sale, as I once called him. He's never held it against me, bless him. But get Steph back on, get Joel on, and we'll do maybe the one before the final. Who knows? We'll have you both on, and we'll have a good chat and a bit of banter on the season, and try and predict the final, who will win it. But anyway, there you go. But Joel, great to have your company tonight, mate. As always, great.
Cheers, Joel.
All the very best to you, sir. Get yourself to your final round of the regular season. Like we said, it all comes down to this. There's so many connotations. Please, God, Sky, do a good job. They're on about covering all 6 games. Please do a good job. It deserves this to be done properly on Friday night. Please do. Don't just keep showing us pictures of an helicopter flying in the air. Show us some rugby league.
Going to the south of France and back.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Don't use Greg's coordinates. Absolutely.
No, he's Sky. He probably will.
but no, I mean, look, let's hope that they do it right. Let's hope it's a feast of rugby league, and fingers crossed it will be. But that's another edition of Super League Raw Weekly. I'm just looking at the elder what's coming up next there. I don't recognise what's coming up next, which is always a concern. But we're going to go out with the top performers of the season thus far, and we'll see you next week for more Super League Raw Weekly. All the best, boys. Thanks a lot, Joel.
Hey guys, cheers, Joel. See you next week.
Later.
Oh, I knew something was wrong. You're not having the top performers.
What are we doing now then?
I don't know what we're doing now. Oh dear, it's all gone wrong. The top performers aren't there, so we're not doing the top performers. We'll put that out on the page. So we'll just say good night.
Night. Night, everyone.
Good night from
night.
It's good night from me. Ah.